Wonderful world history students. I'm just making this quick video for those of you who may be struggling with the essential questions or not sure what we should have yet. So today is March 16th. It's St. Patrick's Day Eve. So I went over this quickly with my A days, but maybe didn't finish it. And for B days, if you see this beforehand or afterwards, you can make sense of this. So what I have on my screen is roughly what yours should look like now. You should have information on the Articles of Confederation, articles on Shays' Rebellion, and information on Washington and the new government. You may have equality and inequality if you had that on this day. I forget if it was, I think it was A days. I don't think B days had that one. So what are two things we've done since? We spent several days on the Constitutional Convention. And you also did a homework assignment on the peacetime agenda, what was going on under the Articles of Confederation after the war ended. So you could put up both. So I'm going to give you an example. So if I go to Classroom, the first person alphabetically that did their homework here is Alejandra, and she did a great job with her notes. So good job, Alejandra. So she could take this image. Now, since I don't have this image saved, I'm just going to do a screenshot here. So you should all have your notes, right? That image already saved from when you uploaded it. So I'm going to take my Jamboard. I'm going to upload this. That doesn't look like it. Let's see. Here we go. All right, and if you see, this is about during the peacetime, some of the problems that our country had. They had trouble demobilizing the army because the troops would not go home until Congress paid them, and Congress couldn't pay them because remember, under the Articles of Confederation, they didn't have that ability to collect taxes. And even go down here to the national debt, that we had all this money in debt from war, and our lack of being able to collect federal taxes really imposed more trouble. So this looks like, to me, a failure of the Articles of Confederation. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. You can always come back later and enlarge it to look at it again. I'm going to put it right there. Okay. Next, we have everything that we learned about from the Constitutional Convention, that 2-day assignment. So you should have just remembered something, right? You spent so much time on it. So what I would do is take a Post-it note and put some information that you remember from the Constitutional Convention. Now notice this says, helps if you know how to spell, Washington and the new government. So if you have anything that you remember about GW, how he was president of the convention or something like that, that would be great. I'll make it green because why not? Because it's St. Patrick's Day tomorrow. That's why. All right. So don't just put a Post-it note that says Constitutional Convention GW. Okay. Don't put that. Put actually something that you learned from it. And we're going to have a lot of information on this one. Oops, spin me right round. So I'm going to put that there. Okay. Now, for those of you who are writing out the questions instead, is this what it should look like? Oh, I think actually I just closed it. Yeah, that's not it. Bear with me here, guys. So I posted it on March 2nd, but for some people, I put it to the top. So here we go, Unit 4, Essential Questions. So what if you are doing the old-fashioned way? Okay, so far, you should have quite a few things for your number 2. What were the achievements and failures of the government set in place? So the one I gave you the example before was the notes. So I put homework video 1 notes, put the date, and blah, blah, blah. You can write something about how the soldiers couldn't get paid or the war debt or something like that. I would type, but apparently my computer's spazzing out. Okay. How did Shays' Rebellion spark the movement for a new constitution? You should already have information on that. We talked about it, right? Go back and look at your journal if you're not sure. We haven't gotten into the Federalists and Anti-Federalists yet. Once again, why was George Washington pivotal to establishing the new federal government? So once again, for you, you're answering a specific question. So you're not going to answer just anything that you learned about the Constitutional Convention. Maybe you have to go back to that website if you want to. But you know that you learned from that assignment that he led, you know, led the convention, that he was the president. You might even want to put that he had that big party at City Tavern afterwards. Remember, there's a receipt there. That would be a cool actually image to upload on your Jamboard. But if you're doing a Jamboard, you're probably not still paying attention. So why was this pivotal, right? Not just what he did, but why was this important? So why was this leadership important? So I want to just put that he led the convention, that, you know, this something to do with the success of the Constitution, the Constitutional Convention, right? He had that party because it ended up being a success, right? So why was his leadership so important? Something to do with that. All right. And I think that's the only ones you'll have so far. And once again, if you have any trouble with this, I would just scroll through your Google Classroom and look at everything we've done and see where it fits. Always come to an office hours, right? Show up at 1:35. I will gladly go over them with you. All right. You want to keep making progress so you don't have to do this all at once. All right. So happy West Point Founders Day, 1802. And have a good day. I'll see you guys later.